Okay, like I said, I taught myself how to do this weekend because it was really bugging me. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take a zigzag line, and as you go down, it's going to get thinner, and you do that by making your lines shorter, but keeping the same angle. So I'm going to stop right there. Then, if you make guidelines, and you don't want the guidelines to touch the points, you want them to be outside of those points. Once you have that done, on one side, go ahead and lengthen where that point is. Then from up top, you're going to swoop down to meet that line. Okay, so now going on this side, I'm going to continue that. And again, from up top, I'm going to swoop to meet that line. Swoop, swoop, swoop. Then down here, I'm going to add another one, and then kind of a little blob. And end right there. So now, we don't want these really sharp angles. So, we're going to go down the center here. That one ended up way over to the side. And just going to work on rounding out those sharp areas. Okay, then we're going a little smoother. Outlining it a little bit more. Curving along in there as well. So now, on this side, same thing, making the line a little thicker, curve it there. Okay, so now this is where the feather line is going to work. And just to show you, it's almost like if you imagine doing a comma that starts in the air. So it's feather, so it's down, up, and the trick is, as you're filling in something like this, even though you're going to have those lines, so let's just make a curve there. Going to start out with a few lines, but then you're going to have to kind of fill in, since we're using the smaller Sharpie. This will make sense here in a minute. So now looking at the braid, kind of like what I just said there, you first have to know the direction of the hair. So I'm going from the outside in to begin with. So the hair would swoosh around. Now that I have the direction, I want to concentrate on just a couple of those. And that's it. So now we're the feathered line. all the way down to the bottom. Now, do the same thing on the other side. See how it was thin right there, so I just added a few more. That aren't quite as long. Sorry, my cat's snoring. Okay, let me add it up there as well. And sometimes you can stop there. However, it's going to look better once you get more coming from the inside, because this just shows the direction. Now we want to show really where the main folding of the hair, and this is where it's going to become more three-dimensional. So you're going to come out, fill that in a little more there. Here you won't go quite so far, but your lines will be slightly thicker. So draw the main lines and then work on just making it a little bit thicker there. Still need to fill that in. There we go. Okay, now go in the other way. And if you ever want to know the top of the hair, if we did this, and this, and eventually it would just be the nape of the neck. Okay, so smoothen this a little more. Then directional lines, making them a little thicker. And as I make them thicker, I still keep the top part of them thinner. So now I'm just kind of looking down. See if I need, like that needs to blend a little more. Then on this side, it needs to be even darker at the bottom. And you still want to leave some lightness in the very center, because just like if you were to draw and shade this pen or a tube, you have that streak down the center that's lighter, and then the sides get darker. Okay, so now at the bottom, this is just the bottom bit of hair that's going to go into the rubber band. or whatever you want to put at the bottom. Okay, and then at the very base of this, when it's coming together, this rubber band pulls it tight enough that as it's coming out the bottom, it slightly poofs out because of the pressure. Then, this always makes me think of like a paintbrush. You're not going to have the paintbrush completely perfect at the bottom. You want to give the hint that there are bristles there. So with this, you just do the same thing. And then I don't know if you can hear that coughing. My son has a cold. So really the trick is to make everything irregular rather than a zigzag line, although you need that down the center of the braid, so maybe a bad example. You're going to spike irregularly. And that doesn't come natural at your age because you want everything to be perfect when it comes to drawing. So next thing would be, and now even though I drew a lot of lines, I still did not draw each and every separate hair, but that type of braid looks a lot better. So I hope this helped a little bit. I would probably draw the zigzag line and the guiding lines with pencil first, and once you have that done, then start going over it with pen. But like you have been doing, definitely practice first. So I hope that helped, because I know, like I said, the other day I didn't really like my braid either, and I had the shading in the wrong spot. So you were doing it correctly. It just correctly for my example that I showed, but my example this time is much better. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you later.